Back now with a disturbing rise during the pandemic. As many people stay home to stay safe, that can be the worst place to be for victims of domestic violence.
According to the UN, lockdowns from COVID-19 are compounding this violence. Victims trapped with their abusers and cut off from support. It's triggering what the UN has dubbed the shadow pandemic.
Domestic violence is a public health and public safety issue in and of itself. It's something that exists at pandemic proportions around the globe, certainly here in this country and here in this community. We at Emerge serve over 6,000 people a year just within our organization. So this is a pandemic of domestic violence. And when you take that pandemic and have it existing in the context of the COVID pandemic, you have a recipe for really increased risk for many, many people in our community.
Tonight, a country emerging from protests of pain. After the killing of George Floyd, viral moments of racial bias caught on tape.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
And the deadly shooting of Ahmaud Arbery. Incidents that are not just emotionally devastating, but also physically damaging to Black people.
Do you feel exhausted by the headlines?
And it's an exhaustion that should not be seen as an exaggeration. It's an exhaustion that should be seen as justified, and that there is a real and a true understanding of why it's there.
That exhaustion, the byproduct of racism that dates back centuries. From slavery to Jim Crow segregation, it's a history of oppression that still impacts Black communities today, especially when images of brutality serve as a reminder.
The FBI is stepping up its efforts to counter the shocking surge in attacks on Asian Americans. They've skyrocketed in the past year as some falsely blame Asians for the pandemic.
According to the group Stop Asian American Pacific Islander Hate, there have been more than 6,600 incidents from March 2020 to March 2021. Women have been the target nearly 65% of the time.
The FBI says that it is surging resources to combat hate crimes, and that is happening as the Justice Department continues its review of how hate crimes are being tracked. They are often underreported by law enforcement.
Love is a combination of 6 ingredients: care, commitment, knowledge, responsibility, respect, and trust. And so that I think, again, the question of love is the question of what to do. In what way does my action that I'm taking reflect these traits, these characteristics, these values, if you will?